Well, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to go over this brief news with you all. This is something that everybody knows at this point, but I wanted to talk about it because I have my own thoughts about this as well. I'm not going to go too in-depth and too opinionated here, but yes, you will hear my thoughts on what has come out with the court ruling. I'm sure you guys probably wanted to know maybe what I thought about it. Not that it would surprise you what I think about it, but I'm sure you guys probably want to know either way. So there's that. And I also said that if anything important like court-wise came out, that I would cover it. So I am going to cover it. And I know I'm late to the party, but we're here. So you know, better late than never. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over this briefly and then give my thoughts. So getting right into it, the Seoul Central District Court ruled that New Jeans cannot engage in independent music, broadcasting, or advertisement activities without the authorization of ADOR. The court accepted ADOR's request for an injunction to maintain or preserve their position as New Jeans agency. So I take that to mean that any plans or actions that were taken by the girls to link up with an outside agency or brandings without authorization, that stuff's over. No more going behind the company's back and having a staff member contacting brands and so forth without the approval of ADOR, which did actually happen. And that staff member got caught because the higher ups have to sign off on that stuff. You can't just make brand deals and make all these business calls. And as someone of this lower tier staff member's station, they can't sign off on it. Someone higher than them has to do it. So eventually the higher ups did find out. And when they did discover that the staff member was sneakingly trying to make moves for New Jeans without authorization of the agency, that staff member was fired. So with all that said, the exclusive contract is still in place, no surprise there. And the court had confirmed that the contract remains legally valid up until July 2029. The court had also ruled Min-hee Jin being released from her position as CEO was a management decision and not a breach of contract, something that Min-hee Jin had initially claimed, that it was a breach of contract. The court determined it was not. So her dismissal doesn't breach the contract, nor does it make the contract null and void in any way. Again, ADOR was going to keep her around as a board member, but she turned it down. I guess she figured, if I can't be queen, then I don't want to live in the castle. So she bounced. And this kind of ties into this, but my mind goes back to the ultimatum that New Jeans gave ADOR, saying that Min-hee Jin is a member of New Jeans, that she is a part of New Jeans. So if we don't have Min-hee Jin, then you, Hybe, don't have a New Jeans. So I'm taking all of this to believe that the girls count Min-hee Jin's removal as mistreatment towards themselves. But the court shut that down as well by ruling her removal as a management decision. So, and it makes perfect sense why it would be just a management decision and not something that would breach the contract. Like if the contract said that Min-hee Jin cannot be removed from CEO position at all, and that's what the contract said, then yeah, they would have broke the contract. But that's telling us what's not in the contract, that they ruled in that way, okay? So everybody that's talking about, oh, nobody knows what's in the contract. Well, the ruling kind of tells us that that's not in the contract. So anybody who, you know, wants to play that weird game of no one knows what's in the contract, you're not wrong. There's a lot of people that don't know what's in that contract, but they just basically said what's not in the contract by ruling this. Just saying. For all the bunnies out there. And again, this is important to note that ADOR tried to keep her. She didn't want to stay. Tried to include her. She didn't want to stay, right? She didn't want any parts of it. So she left. Aside from all of that, the court also ruled that ADOR had fulfilled most of their contractual obligations and that there was no clear evidence of repeated or prolonged breaches to justify loss of trust within ADOR. So basically, it had to be a repeated thing that's been happening over and over and over again. And that's kind of how I'm interpreting it. And if it wasn't something that had happened constantly to like lose trust in ADOR, then there's no issue there. Now, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. That ruling is kind of, how do I say this? It's kind of vague. I'm not sure exactly what they mean entirely. Maybe someone in the comments can kind of fill me in on that ruling. I'm not sure. Of course, I agree with the ruling, but the vagueness of this had to have been something that occurred over and over and over again. And I'm not even sure if I'm interpreting that correctly. So feel free to give me the details of that in the comment section. Again, I've been keeping up with it, but kind of loosely. And even the court's ruling on this one particularly, I'm not entirely sure about. But y'all let me know in the comments. To basically cap off this video, I will say this: the unilateral contract termination of NewJeans' contract did in fact damage ADOR, both reputational-wise and financially. NewJeans trying to do like solo activities without ADOR caused so much damage for the company, and due in great part to this, had been looked at as a tyrannical evil label to many people. Even with all of that, especially in the next news that I'm going to put out, even with all that, ADOR is still arms open wide. Come home. Let's talk. Let's work this out. They are profitable. At least I would say that if they just get themselves together, cut all this nonsense out, because I feel like it's a lot of ego here. If you just drop that, go back to ADOR, and then do what you're supposed to do, I think there would be no problems. But I feel like so much damage has been done. And again, with the news that's about to come out, that I'm about to put out, not that anybody doesn't already know this stuff again, but just so that you guys can hear my thoughts on it. These girls are sinking themselves even deeper with these interviews that they're having, and it's becoming worse. But that's basically my covering of this particular news. I will do part 2, which means I will have more to say in that one than this one, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on it and give you guys what the court ruled, just in case, because I know a lot of my viewers haven't really been following it because y'all are like tired of this, and I understand, and I'm tired of it too. That's why I'm not going too hard on my videos anymore about this and going too like crazy and opinionated and all that. I'm giving my slight take on things and I'm approaching it from more of a non-aggressive approach, but still y'all know where I stand, and I am not changing on my stance of NewJeans or Minhee Jin, of where I stand with them. That ain't changing, okay? So just because I'm going a little light now does not mean that I've changed my opinion on these people. I still think that Minhee Jin is a manipulative, terrible woman who should never be doing this stuff anymore. She should have no part of this. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to close off with this. Minhee Jin has not been as public as she used to be with regards to NewJeans, which is a good idea. She should lay low. It's best for her. She's done enough damage, and she sullied her reputation greatly by doing all that she has done. So she's laying low, but that doesn't mean that she's not in communication with NewJeans still. I still think she is. But either way, there's other news that someone actually had shared with me, and I think I might just upload that as a part of that live stream that I did, I think last week or the week before or something like that. So I'll probably find that and edit that down and then upload it and do that, just so you guys can see that. So yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. Again, if I missed anything, feel free to share it in the comments. This last ruling that I was unclear on, I hope that someone can fill me in on that, because I'm not sure what that means. I'm really not. So y'all please let me know what you guys think in the comments. And let's be respectful, of course. Let's not fight each other in the comments. Let's be respectful. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Love y'all. Bye.